Did you know there's such a thing as ankle replacement surgery? Red wine with red meat, white wine with fish and fowl. But what do you serve with a vegetarian meal? We'll peel a tomato with Chef Cindy McClure. The doctors from Tower Health remind us to keep our annual checkups and help keep our children safe. A biceps triceps workout and a new exercise of the week, all today. I'm Tanya Stroh, a certified personal trainer and healthy living expert. One thing I've learned is fitness isn't just exercise. Healthy living is more than working out and eating well. It's about balance. Don't force exercises that are boring. Don't eat food you don't like. Don't let fear hold you back. Life is about living on your terms. So we put it all together on your and my Fitness RX. Thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. Rementer. So we've heard of hip replacement, knee replacement, but you can do ankle replacements now. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How are they better or different than an ankle fusion?
So ankle replacements have been around actually since the 70s, but we haven't gotten really good at them until the last couple decades, really in the 90s when they got better, and really in the past 10 to 15 years when we got the really good technology. By replacing a major joint in our body, it's always better than fusing it because it allows the motion to be there that is naturally there, and that puts less pressure on the joints around the ankle. So then you don't have adjacent joint arthritis or wear and tear of the joints that are next to the ankle joint.
Oh, that makes sense. Who's a candidate?
So good candidates for ankle replacements are people with end-stage ankle arthritis, usually after traumas, whether they broke their ankle or have chronic sprains of their ankle. Usually the patients are people who want to keep motion in their ankle but are not looking to be super active because you can't run afterwards. And
I was going to ask about athlete.
Yeah, and you can't jump and move around on it, but you can still walk around and you are able to perform more sedentary athletic activities like golf and tennis with braces. But if you're looking to be mobile, really running and jumping on this, you're more looking at the ankle fusion until you're living more of a sedentary
And then
lifestyle.
you switch from the fusion to the replacement. Yeah. So talk a little bit about the surgery and the process.
So the surgery itself is an outpatient surgery for the most part.
Outpatient?
So people can go home the same day.
Wow.
We sometimes keep them overnight to help with pain, but otherwise what's different from an ankle replacement from a knee and hip is you're actually not starting physical therapy until 3 weeks after surgery. Our incision's on the front of the ankle. We go in and we actually resect out the joint surface of the ankle. We take out the bottom of the tibia and the top of the talus, which is the bone that goes up into the ankle joint. And then inside that, we go in and we replace the bony surfaces with metal and replace what is normally cartilage with a piece of plastic called polyethylene that allows the two pieces of metal to grind smoothly on each other while you have the motion.
That's amazing that you can do that. Now, is this an actual piece of ankle replacement that you use?
This is the same technology, but it's a model. So this is actually plastic instead of metal of what we use.
Okay.
But yes, so we go in the day of surgery. It usually takes about 2 hours. We go in there, fix any deformities that we need to do, and then replace the joint, and then close you up and able to do a nice block so that you don't have much pain afterwards. And if your pain's decent, then that's when you can go home. What's different with an ankle replacement than a knee and hip replacement is because there are incisions on the front of the ankle, when you bend your ankle, it actually tries to gap the incision and causes risk for it to not heal. So for the first 3 weeks, we actually don't put any weight on your ankle until the incision's fully healed. Once the incision's healed, then we get you moving and going pretty quickly in physical therapy and actually out of a boot and in sneakers by the 6 week after surgery with your new ankle.
6 weeks after.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're doing your rehab, and how long till you're pretty much back to where you can be, back to as close to normal as possible?
So with any major surgery, we always say it can take up to a year to get to your full recovery, but usually around the 3 month mark is where we're looking at you functioning pretty well, and about 75 to 85% of what I expect you to be.
Now, how long does an ankle replacement last?
So right now, the new generation of implants are lasting about 12 to 15 years if the patient is handling them appropriately and not putting too much wear on them. And usually the part that wears out is the plastic piece that is the insert in between the two metals. But we're still researching the newer implants that have only been out there for about 5 years now, so we're hopeful that we can get further and further out with those ankles, just like we're able with knees and hips now.
So you had an interesting statistic about the weight on your ankle, which is fascinating.
Yeah, so every step you take, unlike your knee and hip, your body pressure through your ankle joint is actually 150% of your body weight. So it's what makes
percent. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's what makes replacing your ankle joint so much more difficult than your hip and knee. There's a much smaller surface area for that weight to be distributed, and it's a different type of cartilage that's normally there. So we have to try to figure out how to make it last longer to take all that wear.
Because the knee and the hip then don't take as much weight and they last longer.
Exactly.
So interesting. Dr. Rementer, thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
So vegetarian dishes stopped being wimpy a long time ago. I mean, you can get things that are loaded with spices, different textures. It's in a way, sometimes it's like the best of both worlds. If you're getting meatier textures with interesting herbal aromatics and different flavors like you would from something that would be purely vegetable. And so I like to pair those types of dishes with modern dry rosé wines. This is not the sort of sickly, syrupy, sweet rosés that some people might remember from several years back. These are energetic, vivacious wines. They, in a way, similar to the dishes, they give you the best of both worlds. You get these red berry flavors that you typically might expect from a red wine, but you get vivacious texture and citrus notes, crispness that you might expect from white wine. So it's a nice spiritual match that I find tends to go very well when you're presented with something that is made entirely from vegetables.
When we come back, I'm in the kitchen with Chef Cindy McClure to learn how to peel and then freeze tomatoes. We're eating fresh, we're eating local, and we're going to have tomatoes year-round, Cindy.
Yes, we are.
I'm so excited. I never realized how easy it was to freeze tomatoes.
It truly is, and it's just going to start off here with an example. We've got 2 tomatoes,
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to concasse them, which is a French term, which means to peel, to seed, to chop.
Okay.
Okay.
Peel, seed, and chop.
Okay, so here what we're doing is I made an X here. How about if you can make it
X here.
Make your X there. All right, and because these are Jersey tomatoes, they're pretty fresh. What I'm going to do is I like to take the center core out. This one was already done, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to drop them into boiling water for a couple of seconds. Okay, here you go.
Alrighty.
Dip them in.
Nice and easy.
Yep. When I was in school, it was supposed to be like 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3. But every tomato is different, and sometimes the fresher and the local they are, sometimes the skins are a little tougher. So I like to leave it in just a couple
seconds.
a
And
couple
this makes
more
it easy to
seconds.
peel?
Seconds more. Yeah, it makes it real easy to peel. And
Now,
if you pull it out,
it's not boiling. Not quite.
Yeah, it should be boiling. It was boiling before we put it on.
Okay.
But if you start to peel it and you see, oh gosh, you know what? What did I do wrong? It's not coming off. Throw it back in the pot and leave it in there a little bit longer, and it'll just, I mean, literally just comes right off.
Okay.
So let's give it a try. This is a spider. Pull it out with your spider.
That's awesome.
And plop it in the ice water.
Goes from the hot right into the cold.
Yep.
And how long in the cold?
Oh, just till it cools off, so that you can put it, so that you can handle it. Okay. So here, let's turn this off. All right, there you go. Take your knife. All right, grab a tomato, and star it up at the top here.
Right on our X.
Right on your X. Look. And
Oh
peel.
my gosh, that's so easy.
That's it. Look at that. Almost looks like a peach.
This is crazy easy, Cindy. I thought that this was the really hard part.
No, it's not. It's easy. It's kind of fun too.
So we just put them back in the cold.
Yeah. That's it. Okay.
Alrighty.
Just drop that right there. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to seed it. Now, some people do it the rustic way, and they just take the whole entire tomato and put it in the food processor. I'm that person. I put the seeds in everything. But if I was doing something like preparing a fine dining recipe, then I would definitely I would take these out, and you can use a spoon or whatever you have.
Oh, kind of like doing a cantaloupe.
Yeah, and just kind of pull the flesh away from the exterior portion of your tomato, like that.
That's simple enough. That gets rid of all the seeds.
Yep, and these don't have too many.
No.
We just take this section right here. So then what we would do is, if like you were julienne, then you would take this portion, the exterior portion like this, and cut thin strips, and then you would use it for whatever application that you were working with.
So we can do that, or we can just literally leave them whole.
We're going to do it the rustic way.
We're going to do it the time-saving way.
Yeah, and you can always, later on, you can strain it if you want to.
If you find there's a lot of seeds.
Yeah, seeds sometimes tend to be bitter, but I don't know if you noticed that tomato didn't have a whole lot of seeds.
No,
okay,
not at all.
Let's get our lid on here first. All right, in there we have some beautiful fresh oregano and parsley.
Oh, yum.
And some basil.
Of course, basil.
Yeah,
We love basil.
as well. Yeah. Put our lid on. Go ahead, press the on button.
How long?
Until you see that it's chopped up. I had one prior, it was kind of on the hard side, so I had to pulse it a couple of times to get it nice and smooth. So I don't see anything jumping up in here.
Well, that's a good tip.
So here we go. All right, there. Let's see. Okay.
That's it. That was so easy.
Yep, that's it. So now, if you want to prepare these for the winter time when you want your nice Jersey tomato flavor, here's some that I've already done. I pre-packaged it, and all you do is put it on
I love this
a sheet pan and put it in the freezer, and it'll freeze nice and flat.
So you don't have it
So then
all
after you have a
crunchy
couple
and a
of these,
mess.
they all line up really nice, and you just pull out your pack. Where's the little one for this one here?
The little one, yep.
Okay. So you're going to take these home
Oh, yum.
and practice with them.
I can't wait to do this.
Okay,
So whether you have garden tomatoes or just get them at the growers market, so you're
Yep.
fresh,
Yep.
around, squeeze all the air out of it, right, Cindy?
Yep.
Make it nice and flat.
Yeah, make it nice and flat, and then
And then that's a great single serving size. So you can measure it out.
So for two people, you wanted to do a piece of chicken and make a little tomato sauce. Right there you go. Just throw it into the pan and then cook it off.
Awesome
Yeah.
tips. And this is what it looks like if you want to use it fresh.
If you want to use it fresh, yes.
And all the basil, that's beautiful.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
During these uncertain times, we find ourselves questioning everything we do in terms of whether it is safe or not. So of course we understand that you may be hesitant to come into the doctor for your yearly physicals. But right now is the most important time to come in for those visits. During those visits, we screen you for preventable conditions such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and even cancer. Moms and dads, that also means you want to bring your children in for their well child checks, so we can maintain their vaccinations on time, such as those for measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, whooping cough, All of those are very important to keep your children safe and well. And we're doing everything we can in our offices to make sure you feel as safe as possible, such as frequent disinfecting and staggering office visits between in-person visits and telemedicine visits to decrease waiting room time. So please just try to stay as safe as possible, and don't forget to keep those masks on and above your nose. We'll see you soon.
A biceps and triceps workout, and how to keep our children safe after these messages. This is a 6-exercise workout for your biceps and triceps, and it's designed to help you gain more strength and improve your functional movement. It works by changing up the angle and the position of your arms with each exercise. You'll do 3 exercises for your biceps and 3 for your triceps. Now, Shar started with the incline bicep curl. The angle of her shoulder was extended. Notice the change in her arm position to a more neutral position with the standing hammer curls. And finally, for the biceps, we move on to a concentration curl. Now here, your arm is in a more forward or flexed position. Be sure to keep your arm aligned and move the dumbbell in a straight line from your ankle to your shoulder for the best range of motion. For the triceps, we start with push downs. That's your neutral arm position. Be sure to keep your elbows at your side, just like Shar is doing, to achieve full range of motion. Skull crushers are next. Here your shoulders are in the flexed position. And finally, we have dips, the extended arm position. When you're doing your dips, focus on good form and avoid rounding your shoulders. Keep in mind, you only need to do 1 round of this workout because it's 3 exercises for each muscle group. Simply move from exercise to exercise with just a minimal break. Thanks for the demo, Shar.
If your child happens to ingest a medication from the home or a toxic chemical, the first thing to do is to be calm. The more that you're upset and anxious, the more your child will get anxious and upset. It's important to know what medication they took, if they actually took it, and how much they took of it if they're able to tell you this. You can always call the Poison Control Center to obtain information and guidance and advice. They are great with guiding you to tell you if it's important for you to come directly to the emergency department or if you can stay at home and observe your child. We have the necessary equipment to take care of any emergency that comes along with your child. We can observe them and monitor them for the amount of time needed. We also consult with Poison Control Center when an ingestion has occurred. In general, for your home safety, all medication should be locked away as best as possible. If for any reason you cannot lock this away, you should put it in a high cabinet where your child has no access, either by standing, by climbing a stool or a ladder. It should be high enough that they cannot reach it. In addition, all caps should be tightly closed because all medication has child locks on there to protect your child. In addition, all cleaning chemicals should be placed in a locked cabinet. There are many child lock safeties that's on the market today to help protect your home and your child from any accidental ingestion. So it is very important for you to obtain these necessary items to protect your child.
A balance exercise for the exercise of the week. Up next. I guess it's all relevant, but it's still amazing. With modern technology, you can even replace your ankle if you need to. Thanks to Joe Roberts for his wine pairing tips that go great with vegetarian dishes. Leave it to Chef Cindy McClure to show us how to skin a tomato. Thanks to the docs at both Phoenixville and Pottstown hospitals for reminding us not to delay our annual checkups and for information on how to keep our children safe. Don't forget your biceps and triceps workout from Shar. Until next time, I'm your host, Tanya Stroh. Here's your exercise of the week. It's another way to work your triceps. A skull crusher on a stability ball. Thanks for the demo, Tracy. Be fit, be healthy, be happy.